Hi, I'm Lee at Iridium. Hope everyone's doing okay today. So, ranking the album tracks. Loving this series. So today, Metallica. We're coming up to anniversary of this album, Master of Puppets. March the 3rd, 1986. On Elektra Records. Man, this is one of the best albums ever. This is a 10 out of 10. When we talk about perfect albums, which I might do a show talking about perfect albums, this is one of them. My favourite Metallica album by far, and they've got some good ones, but this one is just pure excellence. So let's talk about this album a little bit. So producer is Flemming Rasmussen, and Metallica produced this as well. Obviously the classic lineup: James Hetfield, guitar and vocals, Kirk Hammett, guitar, Cliff Burton, who sadly passed away on the tour bus incident, as we all know about. So sad. What a great artist. And Lars Ulrich on drums. So, third album from the band, obviously, like I just said, Cliff Burton's last album. Artwork, absolutely fantastic. What an album cover. One of the best, so iconic. Brilliant album cover. And you know, that's what you had back then. In the 80s, you had great album covers, and this was just added to the list of so many great album covers. This went 6 times platinum by the time it got round to 2003. As far as the music goes with the band, it was a lot more mature. Even the Ride the Lightning was a lot more mature than Kill 'Em All. This one went one step further, lyrically and musically. A lot of light and shade on the album. A lot of parts where it slowed down into acoustic bits and then built up into thrashy bits, metal bits. So many twists and turns on this album. 8 tracks, 54 minutes and 47 seconds long. Like I said, it's a 10 out of 10. So I've got to rank the tracks somehow. And I think no matter, I was looking at these tracks, and I think no matter how you rank these tracks, it's going to cause controversy. Because everyone could be like a favourite from fans. So no matter what you put at number 8 and number 7, I think, you know, it's going to cause, not an argument, but debate. It's opinions again, isn't it? That's what it's all about. And this is what it means to me. These are what the tracks mean to me. Like I said, though, I love this. This is a 10 out of 10 album, and there ain't many of them. This album, for me, when I was younger, see, I was really, so at this time when it came out, I was 16 years old. In fact, I was 15. Yeah, 15 years old. And I was fully into the American melodic hard rock, if you want to call it glam, hair metal, what the fuck you want to call it. I was bang into that, which I still am, by the way. I think it's great. Hair metal, yeah, I know. Yeah, I lost this lot a long time ago, so, you know, but back then I did have some hair, and I was into the hair metal stuff. And for me, I didn't get into this album straight away. For me, it was too much, you know, and I know it's probably ridiculous to say this is too much, this album, but for me at the time, I wasn't into the thrash stuff. I just thought it was noisy. I thought, oh, where's all the melody? And then I think just a couple of years later, it just clicked. It just clicked with me, and over time, this has become one of my top albums ever. And Metallica, you know, in that period from, I'd say, Ride the Lightning, even up to the Black Album. I like the Black Album. I know a lot of fans don't. I think they were just sometimes untouchable. But this album in particular has grown and grown and grown on me. I could put it on now and it sounds as fresh today as it did back then. It's absolutely, what an amazing album. You can't say that about many albums. So ranking the tracks ain't going to be easy, but here we go. So remember, don't kill me, Metallica fans. This is just my opinion on a 10 out of 10 album. Every track is absolutely superb. So, number 8, Damage Inc. So, last track on the album, perfect closer, thrashy as fuck, a little bit punky I suppose at times, although punk ain't a thing for me, but you know, this got that slight sort of punky, sort of aggressive attitude about this. It's just, I think this song, sort of, even though they went in this really more mature direction compared to the previous two albums, I think they were showing, you know, the fans that no matter what they do, they're the fucking like kings of thrash, if you like. And this just proved how fucking good they were at that still, you know. Great track, Damage Inc. And, you know, it's got to come somewhere. Number 8. Number 7, The Thing That Should Not Be. So this was actually, for me, my favourite song when one of my favourite songs when I was growing up. When I first got into this album, this was the one that hooked me. I think because it was like the least thrashiest, one of the least thrashiest, if you like. It was very doomy, Sabbathy, real fucking heavy riffs, extremely heavy. And I think the speed of the song made it even heavier. The Thing That Should Not Be, man, it's just the little breakdowns and then it builds back into the song all the way through it. I don't know, it's just fucking, what an amazing song. And, you know, I think there was a few complaints about this when it first, I can remember reading about this saying, oh yeah, the song don't go anywhere. I just think Metallica were great at that, they just, it was quite sort of repetitive at times, but I never got tired of it. You know, it was just sounded fresh. No matter how many times, he could have fucking done this song for fucking 20 minutes as far as I was concerned, and I would have loved it all the way through it. So The Thing That Should Not Be is my number 7. My number 6, this could be high up on people's lists, I know it will be, but the opener, Battery. So, excellent opener. You know, it's just, I named this in the Great Openers show that I did with Mark Clower. You know, one of the best album openers I've ever heard. Lovely little bit at the beginning. I think it's Cliff Burton's bass and then a little bit of acoustic before we go into the full-on thrash. Nice little odd time signatures through this song. Absolutely brilliant opener. Battery's my number 6. My number 5, Leper Messiah. This was another one that was like, probably this and The Thing That Should Not Be, and probably one other that I'm going to get onto, were my favourites when I was younger on this album. What a great song, really doomy. That main riff is fucking evil, man. It's just fucking brilliant. I think that this song is just, I don't know, it just puts pictures in your mind. And I think that riff, I don't know, I just imagine some fucking like heavy fucking like monster coming towards me when I was a kid. It's just fucking the things that Metallica, again, one of them bands that puts visions in your mind. You got the album cover there, you're listening to it, you're reading the lyrics, it's just fucking amazing. Leper Messiah is absolutely superb. My number 5. My number 4, Orion. Man, I mean, I go on about, I'm starting to think that I actually do like instrumentals. I have a sort of a bit of a thing with instrumentals, saying, you know, I'm not too keen, but man, when you think back at some of the great ones there's been and this one, I mean, it's fucking, I think it's like, sure it's about 8.5 minutes long, I think, isn't it? Something like that. It's just mental. Might even be longer. 2 bass solos in this, and I think they sound the things that Cliff Burton did on the bass. I mean, he was so inventive, and you know, I think that sometimes people don't even know it's a bass solo. I mean, there's 2 of them in this. It's just a fucking amazing. That odd time signature makes this. It's a genius odd time signature in this one. That one that it sort of, you know, it sort of feels like it's going to stop and then it goes again. It's repeated a few times through this song. Absolutely amazing. I know this is about Orion's belt, about the stars and all that, but I imagined this when I was a kid. I imagined it being a space, like sending someone into space, and like it just sounded like it was. It put visions in my mind again, landing on like on the moon or something, and then that bit where it goes fucking mental. It's just sound. I'd imagine an alien was running after them. You know, it's just fucking, and then they go off again. It's just, I don't know why I thought that, but the music just put that picture in my mind. Amazing song. Orion's number 4. Number 3, Welcome Home Sanitarium. This was the other one, the third one I was talking about, where I was hooked on it when I was a lot younger. Epic. This is probably the closest thing to a ballad, I suppose, on the album you could get. Although it builds and builds into a mental ending, which is fucking amazing. This is a bit like the fade to black, I suppose, of Master of Puppets, you know. A bit like Ride the Lightning and Fade to Black. It had that great like acoustic parts, and then it builds and builds. Epic, epic, epic. Fucking amazing. Number 2, the title track, Master of Puppets. What a masterpiece, man. Twists and turns. One of my favourite guitar solos from them. That part where the fucking guitar squeals is just airs on the back of your neck. Every time you hear it, it's relentless. This song is fucking relentless. Apart from that little quiet bit, which is one of the best bits musically ever from any band. That bit where it slows down into the lovely little quiet bit. Man, what an amazing song. I was sort of battling myself that would be number 1, but my number 1 is Disposable Heroes. Back to the front, you will do what I say, back to the front, you will die when I say you must die, back to the front, you coward, you blinded. Now this is one of the ones when I was younger, where I was into the more melodic, you know, stuff in those years, where this was one of my least favourite songs, and over time it's just built and built and built for me. And if I got asked to turn the song on from Metallica, this would be the one. It's just, the riffing in this is just fucking mental. Another song that's like relentless, and it's unusual for me because everyone who knows what's this channel, I'm not into the faster sort of songs. This has got some real fucking fast thrashy bits in it, and it's just thrash done right. This is what thrash was about, you know, and whatever you think of Metallica and how they've become, and that period, you know, in the 90s, wherever it was, where they changed. I think they're getting more back to their sound. They're never going to create Master of Puppets or something like that again. That's just a moment in time that was just pure magic. You know, if they ever made anything like that again, I'll be shocked. But I think they're trying to get back, you know, to what they was. But they're criticised a lot, no matter what they do now. I even think if they'd done a masterpiece like this, people would still criticise Metallica. An absolutely amazing album. I actually saw them with Cliff Burton at Download, and I think it might have been 87. I think it was 87. Bon Jovi were actually headlining, Metallica were like, I don't know, they were right down on the bill with Anthrax and Metallica. Wasp were there. But Metallica, I mean, I wasn't really into them at that time because, like I said, I was more into the melodic stuff. But they put on a great show and everyone went fucking apeshit. It was fucking brilliant. The sound was awful, actually. It was one of the worst sounds I've ever heard, and Download didn't have it, or Donington Monsters of Rock, sorry, as it was at the time, didn't have it figured out at that point in time. You know, the sound quality wasn't there, especially for Metallica that day. But what they did do, they got everyone fucking going, and it was an amazing thing to watch. Absolutely amazing. I love this album. Like I said, a 10 out of 10. I think this album, like I said, because of the tracks, because they're all like fan favourites, I think it was so hard to rank this. I knew what was going to be number one, apart from, well, there was like a fight between number one and number two, but it was hard. It was really hard to do this because they're all great songs. Thanks for listening. How do you rank the tracks from Master of Puppets? One of the best heavy metal albums, thrash albums of all time. Let me know in the comments below.